Okay guys, so today we are going to work with our module 8, which is OSPF, Open Shortest Path First Protocol. So before this we have already completed RIP EIGRP, and now we are working with the last dynamic protocol, which is OSPF. So these are the topics what we will be covering in this lesson, all this. Now OSPF stands for Open Shortest Path First. Okay, so as RIP EIGRP, okay, now OSPF has some other features. Okay, so OSPF is standardized link state routing protocol. Like say RIP is also a standard protocol. EIGRP is not a standard protocol. EIGRP is a Cisco proprietary protocol. OSPF is a standard protocol. What is the meaning of these things? Meaning of these things means RIP protocol and OSPF protocol you will find on any vendor routers like Juniper router, CyberHome router, D-Link router, MikroTik router. Any company router you will find RIP and OSPF, but EIGRP you will find only in Cisco routers. Okay, so EIGRP RIP is distance vector protocol. EIGRP is hybrid protocol, means it uses distance vector and link state algorithm also, but OSPF is a link state routing protocol. Link state means it works on the basis of the links. Okay, so OSPF is designed to support large network like ISP networks. OSPF networks are designed using area, like EIGRP networks are designed using autonomous system number. So here we have area in OSPF. OSPF will form neighbor relationship with adjacent router in the same area. It is normal, like in EIGRP also, you know that whenever you want to be a neighbor of another EIGRP router, so the AS number must be same. So here also in area, any router who wants to become the neighbor of another router in OSPF, so the area must be same. Okay, and the router with whom you are exchanging the database, those OSPF routers are, or those OSPF neighbor routers are known as adjacent routers. Instead of advertising the connected networks like other routing protocol RIP EIGRP, they advertise their own connected networks, but in OSPF it is same like that, but it is little bit different as per other routing protocol algorithm. OSPF advertise the status of directly connected links using LSA, link state advertisement. Okay, now OSPF send LSA updates, okay, when there is changes on the links. Like it's not periodic, like first time OSPF will send LSA update to the neighbor. Okay, second time whenever there will be changes, then they will generate LSU and he will update to the neighbor. So it's not periodic update. Okay, now as RIP sends periodic update in every 30 seconds, EIGRP no periodic update. If there is any changes, then he will update to the neighbor. Same here also in OSPF, but OSPF has slightly difference, that OSPF refresh his LSA database with the neighbor in every 30 minutes. Okay, and this is periodic. In every 30 minutes they refresh the database. Okay, now OSPF traffic is multicasted on two multicast IP address, 224.0.0.5 and 224.0.0.6. So 224.0.0.5 is used for all OSPF routers. Okay, and 224.0.0.6 is used for designated routers. You will understand what is designated router later on. Okay, now features of OSPF. So here we have some features of OSPF. Okay, that OSPF supports IP routing only. So this feature is common nowadays. Okay, but when the IP protocol came, at that time we were using multiple IP protocols, multiple routed protocols like IPX, XPX, Netware, Apple Talk. But nowadays we are using only IP routing protocol, that TCP/IP. Okay, that's why this is not a best feature nowadays, because earlier when the protocol came, so EIGRP was supporting multiple multiple routed protocols, and REAP and OSPF is only supporting IP routing protocol, and nowadays we are using IP routing protocol, so it's not a big feature here. OSPF use Dijkstra shortest path algorithm. Okay, like RIP use Bellman-Ford, EIGRP use dual algorithm, diffusing update algorithm, OSPF use Dijkstra shortest path algorithm to determine the best path to reach to the destination, or shortest path to reach to the destination. Okay, now OSPF is a classless protocol and also supports VLSN. Okay, and it also supports supernetting, or you can say summarization. Okay, OSPF routers or OSPF routes have an administrative distance of 110. RIP administrative distance is 120. EIGRP administrative distance is 90 and 170. OSPF administrative distance is 110. As RIP use hops for his metric calculation, best path calculation, EIGRP use bandwidth and delay for the best path calculation. Here OSPF use cost as its metric for best path calculation, and the cost of the what you say as a metric, a metric is a measurement where they calculate the best path, right? So RIP use hop count for its metric, EIGRP use bandwidth and delay for its metric, OSPF use cost for its metric calculation. But how they will get cost? Cost is, every link has their own cost. Okay, so according to their link bandwidth, the cost will be calculated. We'll come to know in our metric calculation process. Okay, how the cost will be calculated. OSPF send incremental updates to its neighbor. So when there is changes, only the changes will be shared with the neighbor. It's not that full information will be shared with the neighbor. Okay, now OSPF has no hop count limit, so that's why OSPF is used for large network. Okay, same like EIGRP, OSPF also build 3 table, which is neighbor table, second one is database table, and routing table. EIGRP maintain neighbor table, topology table, and routing table. So you say topology table or database table is the same, but in EIGRP the topology terminology is used, and in OSPF database terminology they are using. Okay, the table is same, but the name is different because the protocol is different. Now what is neighbor table and what information is there in the neighbor table? So saying that the neighbor table contains a list of neighboring router. Okay, OSPF form neighbor relationship called adjacencies with other routers in the same area by exchanging hello packet, and hello packet is shared by multicast address, which is 224.0.0.5. Okay, so as I told you here that whenever they exchange the hello packet, so for exchanging the hello packet they use multicast address 224.0.0.5. Only after an adjacency is formed can router share the routing information. So without adjacency means without neighborship, router do not exchange the routing information between them. Okay, now in the neighbor table you will have the details that it will be containing the list of the neighbors who is directly connected to you. Okay, how to find that those things, that who is my neighbor, that the command is so IP OSPF neighbor. Okay, now second you have database table, or you can say topology table. Okay, so in the database table it contains a list of all possible routes to known destination within the area. So if I want to reach to any destination, so I will have the list of all routes. Okay, and from that topology or database, the best route will be taken and placed in the routing table. Okay, and how to check the database table? So IP OSPF database. And how to check routing table? You can write so IP OSPF route or so IP route OSPF. Okay, now why they are using area in OSPF? Like in EIGRP they use autonomous system number. So as I told you that autonomous system number is used for identifying the network, and if you want to belong to the same EIGRP network, so your autonomous system number must be same. Okay, so here also in OSPF use area. Okay, so we'll know why OSPF use area. Okay, so here we will be coming to know about why OSPF use area. See, simply that OSPF use area to reduce the load of the routing table on the routers. Like suppose, as you know that OSPF is used for large network, right? So large network can be of 100 routers, 200 routers, right? And can you imagine when we do practice with 4 and 5 routers, the routing table of the router is long, right? And can you imagine if you have 200 routers, so how long routing table will be there on the routers? And to process all those routing table informations, routers has to use their CPU and RAM, so the utilization will be high on the router. So the lower level of router they will hang, and the higher level of the routers, no problem, they can produce and they can process the routing. So for reducing the routing table of the routers, the area has been defined now. So OSPF use area to simplify administration and optimize the traffic and the resource utilization. Resource utilization means the RAM and CPU of the router and the bandwidth. And an area is a simply logical grouping of contiguous networks and the routers in the network or in the area. Okay, so it's, you can make simple logical grouping of the networks by area. Okay, all routers in the same area will have the same topology table, and he will not know the other routers of other area. So if you belongs to area 1, so you will be only knowing to area 1 routers, and the top database will be for area 1. So every area will have their own identical database, other area will have their own other database. Okay, and the routing table is built after database. Okay, a router within an area must maintain a tuple, means the common database, okay, from the area which he belongs to. Okay, the routing table of the router is reduced with the help of area. Okay, and OSPF network can be divided into subdomains called area. Okay, and the area range is from 0 to 4.2 billion, or you can say 4.3 billion around. Okay, and now whenever you are going to create OSPF network, so there are some rules for the OSPF area, that you must have one area called area 0 in your network, and it is known as a backbone area. Okay, all other routers, or sorry, all other area must be connected to area 0 if they want to communicate. Like if area 1 wants to communicate to area 2, so he must be connected to area 0, then he can communicate, otherwise no. We'll see this practical in later on labs. Okay, now interface of the both router facing must be into same area, then you will become neighbor, otherwise no. Now OSPF use process ID. Okay, and this process ID is used to identify the process of the router which is running on the local router. See, the process ID is the ID of the OSPF process to which the interface belongs. The process ID is local to the router, so it doesn't mean that the process like autonomous system number of EIGRP. So everywhere if you want to run, so the autonomous system should be same on all the routers, but here process ID can be anything. Okay, so if you want, you can run same on all the routers. If you want, you can run different on all the routers, because it is local to the router. Okay, and OSPF, okay, and two OSPF neighboring router can have different OSPF process ID, so it doesn't mean that it must be same, or right, it can be same, it can be different. Okay, so now see the process ID, as I told you that it is just keeping the process of the OSPF which is running on the router. Like if you have one router here, so you can have multiple okay, just take example of RIP. So suppose this is a router, so how many RIP you can run? Only one RIP, right? Okay, either a RIP version 1 or RIP version 2. But in EIGRP you can run multiple EIGRP on a single router, right? Like multiple EIGRP means multiple EIGRP with different autonomous system number. So same here, on a single router you can run multiple OSPF. Like okay, like this two OSPF is communicating to different branches, this another OSPF is communicating to another branch, another OSPF. So these multiple OSPF, when you want to run, you have to use process ID to run multiple OSPF protocol on a single router. Okay, and as I told you that OSPF process is local to the router, so it doesn't mean that it should match with the neighbor, okay, or it shouldn't match with the neighbor. So whatever you want, you can keep same or you can keep different, doesn't mean. Okay, do OSPF process ID have to match? As I told you that the OSPF process ID is a numerical value for the local to the router. Okay, it does not have to match process IDs of the neighbor router. Okay, they are locally significant, so no need to match. OSPF process ID range, it is from 1 to 65,535. How to check those process ID? You should run show IP OSPF or show IP protocol, you will find the process ID. Okay, okay, so OSPF has 5 different type of packet. Okay, same like EIGRP. So first is your hello packet. Okay, in hello packet, okay, you can say that packet type or message type also. Okay, so the first is hello. So the purpose of this hello packet is to discover the neighbor, negotiate the capabilities established, and maintain the adjacency between the neighbor. So hello packet is simply, you can say that hello packet is used to form neighbor relationship with the router. Okay, and hello packet contain all the criteria to become a neighbor. So if all the criteria will match, you will become neighbor. Okay, we'll see the neighbor criteria later on. Okay, now type 2. Okay, then it is database description message. So in this database description message, okay, they elect the master and slave router. Okay, and they determine the initial sequence number of the database exchange. Okay, so here you can say that in database descriptions they elect master and slave, because see in OSPF, so little bit terminology is different than other routing protocols, because in OSPF area network, okay, they determined and they find one boss router in the network. So all slave router, you can say one master router in the network, so and all remaining routers will be acting as a slave. So all remaining router will send the database update to directly to master, and master will be responsible for exchanging those data or routing information or database information to other slaves. So slave and slave, they cannot directly exchange the informations. Okay, so that's why here they determine master and slave. After that, once the master and slave is done, okay, then they exchange the update. Okay, so the fourth one is, but this is not a sequence. Okay, you don't say that this is a sequence. Okay, so I'm just writing here. Okay, so the fourth one is LSA, link state update. Okay, so once the information, means once you have elected master and slave, okay, then they will start the exchanging the database. Okay, so the exchanging is database is always LSU. Okay, link state update. So they will start the flooding the information, and the LSU is sent to the neighbor, okay, on multicast address 224.0.0.5. okay, then you will have LSA. So once you have received the update, you will acknowledge. Once you will receive the update, you will acknowledge, right? Okay, so that is the LSA. Now there is one other message which is known as LSR, link state request. So if any router or any neighbor, if he is missing something in the database, so he used to send the request to the master, and master will again reply according to his requirement. Okay, so normally we have hello, okay, then we have database dbd description, okay, then we have LSU, then we have LSAC. LSR is when there is a route missing and it's not frequent. Okay, when there is a route missing, then he will generate LSR. Okay, if there is everything is okay, fully converged, then no need for LSR. Okay, so OSPF neighboring condition. Okay, so if a router want to be a neighbor of another OSPF router, so he has to follow some criteria. Okay, so area ID must be same. Area ID must be same. Prefix ID also must be same. Prefix ID must be same means the subnet mask what you are using on the both router exit interface, okay, connecting to the another neighbor must be same. Okay, it's not like EIGRP. Okay, now subnet mask must be same. Prefix means whenever you see slash like this, then it is prefix, and when you see 255.255.255.0, that is subnet mask. Okay, so it's the same thing, but the writing method is different. That's why they call as a prefix and subnet mask. Hello and interval, hello time and dead time must be same. But in REAP EIGRP, if the neighbor time and your time is different, no problem in the neighborship. But in OSPF, timer must be same, whether you are changing the hello or whether you are changing the dead. Okay, so hello here in OSPF it is 10 seconds, okay, and dead is 40 seconds. Okay, but in EIGRP hello is 5 and dead is 15. Okay, authentication, if you have configured authentication, then authentication also must match. Okay, and there are some other process, okay, which those process also must match, which is known as area type also, but this is not part of this book, so don't worry now. Okay, OSPF send hello packets also to serve as a keep alive message between neighbors. Okay, so hello message is periodic in every 10 seconds to finding whether my neighbor is alive or not in the network or in the area. Okay, now all OSPF use router ID. See, OSPF has different features, like see, in EIGRP we have just EIGRP administrative distance, and EIGRP autonomous system number, and we started configuring, right? But OSPF has many things like OSPF area, OSPF process ID. Okay, what is OSPF router ID now? Okay, now so OSPF router ID is unique. Okay, and the router ID of the router must be different and unique in the network. Okay, so suppose I have one router. Okay, so if I want to identify this router in the network, so they identify the router in the network with the router ID, not with the IP address. Because suppose I have this router, and here if you'll see on this router I have 4 interface and I have 4 IP address on those different interface. Okay, so if this router will be connected in the network, okay, so how, and if this router is a remote router, so how I will know that, okay, what is the how I will know about this router? Okay, because it has a 4 IP address. Okay, so maybe suppose you are saying that, okay, you will identify with this IP address, and if this link will down, then how you will identify? Now you will say, okay, you will identify this. So in every minute, you know, the link is going up and down, so the information of the router will be changed. That's why they said, okay, no problem, let's make the router with a unique router ID. So let's give ID like a employee ID to each and every router in OSPF to identify him in the network. So each OSPF router is identical by unique router ID, and the router ID can be determined in one of 3 ways. So there are 3 methods to assign router ID to the router. Okay, so the first method is you should go and configure manually while configuring the OSPF on the router. Okay, so you can come simply router OSPF and the process ID. Okay, and then you can write router ID and the router ID, and router ID is same like you can assign like IP address. It is also 32-bit. Okay, so it doesn't mean that it should match with your IP address on the interface, or it shouldn't match with anything. If you want, you can keep. So normally we keep like router 1 as a 111, router 2 as a 2.2.2. so it will be easy for us to identify the routers in the network, in OSPF network. Okay, now if you have configured this 32-bit OSPF router ID manually, then it's okay, no problem. Okay, so if you have assigned manually, then there is no problem. But if you have not configured this manually, okay, then what is saying the second process, if the router ID is not configured manually, okay, the highest IP address configured on any loopback interface of the router, that will become the router ID automatically. So according to this router, so it has 2 physical interface, F0 by 0 and F0 by 1, and 2 loopback interface, loopback 0 and loopback 1. Okay, so now he is talking about in the second method the highest IP address configured on the loopback interface. So here I have 2 loopback, so this 11.11.11.11 is the highest IP address configured on this router on the loopback interface. So this 11.11.11.11 will be considered as a router ID for this router 1. Okay, now second condition is completed. Now what is saying that in the third condition, if loopback is also not exist on the router, you know, some routers we don't configure loopbacks, right? So if loopback is not exist on the router, so the highest IP address configured on any physical interface, that will become the router ID of that router. So assume that this router doesn't have this loopback, no loopback. Okay, so this has only 2 physical address. So which physical address is the highest? So see, this is the highest physical address configured on this router, 192.168.11.1. okay, so this will be considered as a router ID for this router 1. Okay, now OSPF neighborship state. Okay, so in OSPF, whenever OSPF router to become the neighbor and wanted to be the neighbor of another router, so he has to follow some states. Those are neighbor states. Okay, so first of all, when this router and this A router and B router, they are connected, when you will configure OSPF on router A, okay, so by default the state of the OSPF is down because OSPF is not enabled. So once you will enable OSPF, okay, on the router A, then he will start sending hello message like that, I am router ID. See, he is not saying that I am router A or router B, he is saying that I am router ID this. and I see no one on this link, because first you will configure here, then you will configure here. So once you will configure here on router A, he will start sending hello message, okay, and then the hello message is on 224005. okay. So the first state is down. Once OSPF is configured, then it will come to the second state, which is known as init state, initial state, okay. And in initial state, he will start sending the OSPF hello message on the link, okay, and on the multicast IP address, okay. And why he is saying as I am router ID 172.16.5.1, because it has only one physical link and it has only this IP address, so he is considering this IP address as the router ID. Now once the hello message will be sent on the link, so that hello message is sent in the initial state, okay. Now when you will come to router B and you will configure OSPF also, right? So again router B has OSPF now. So when router B has OSPF, so router B will receive this hello message from the router A, okay, on 224005, because it's a multicast address, okay. And once he will receive the hello message from router A, so he will build the neighbor table, because in hello message everything is there to build the routing table. So once hello message will be received by router B here, so he will keep in the information of the router B in his neighbor list, okay, and he will say that I have one neighbor 172.16.5.1, okay, and he is connected to me via Ethernet 1, okay. And then he will send again hello message, okay, and it is unicast now. Why it is unicast? Because once router A has sent the hello message to the multicast address and router B has received that multicast address, okay, and once he received the multicast address hello pack message, okay, after that he added the information in his neighbor table. So once you know your neighbor, then no need to multicast. So he is sending the information again hello message to his another neighbor, which is router A, okay. And now what he's saying, he's saying that okay, I am router ID 172.16.5.2, you can see here 172.16.5.2, and IC 172.16.5.1. so he's saying that I know you, means like that, okay. So once router A will receive his own router ID in the message which he is receiving from router B, okay, then he will put his information in his routing neighbor list, okay. He will say okay, this is router A neighbor list, this is router B neighbor list. He is saying that okay, my neighbor is 172.16.5.2, he is connected to me via Ethernet 0, okay. Once the neighborship is done, okay, then they will go in this neighborship. See, this hello message is sending is init state, okay, and this neighborship information, when the neighborship will be built, that is known as two-way state, okay. After two-way state, see here they have just built the neighborship, they are not exchanging the database and the routing information, okay. So once the two-way state will be completed, then they will go for X start state. In X start state, okay, now for example, suppose this is router A, okay, and this is router B, okay. Now router A is saying that I will start exchanging because I have router ID 172.16.5.1, okay. Then he will say, router B is saying that no, I will start exchanging because I have a higher router ID. Now here you will have, then why they are not exchanging like RIP and EIGRP. Now here the database exchanging is always done by master router, not slave router, okay. Yeah, like let me show you here, okay. See here, the database, in this they elect the master and slave, okay, and then they determine and they say that okay, who will start exchanging the database, okay. So here also you can see that here in X start state they will elect who will become master and who will become slave. Okay, so master is authorized to exchange the data in the network. Okay, slave will send the data to master and master will send the data to other slave. Okay, so here they will find, okay, who will become master. So here the highest router will become master. Okay, so whose has highest router ID, 5.1 or 5.3? so of course 5.3 is the highest router ID. Okay, okay, then so the master router is known as DR, designated router. This we will know in coming classes. Okay, or in coming slides you can say. Okay, so here they determined, okay, this is the master router just because of the highest router ID. Then they will go for exchange state. So in exchange state the master router will send the summary of the database, or you can say database. Okay, and he will say that, okay, now you can take the database. This is, here is the summary of the LSDB, means linked state database. Okay, once he will receive, and then he will also say that, okay, means master will exchange to slave, and here also slave is exchanging the his own database with the master. So he's saying that, okay, here is my summary of LSDB. Okay, once they will exchange the database, okay, then they will exchange the LSAC. Okay, means both router has exchanged, so he exchange his own database. Okay, slave also exchange his own database. Then they will acknowledge both. Okay, he will acknowledge him and he will acknowledge him. Once the acknowledge is successful, then they will go for loading state. In loading state, okay, that while loading the database, okay, then the slave router will send LSR, means link state request, that, okay, can you please send me the complete entry of this network if any network is missing. Okay, this is not mandatory that he will generate, but if there is network is missing, then he will generate LSR. But if there is no network missing, okay, then he will not generate any LSR. Like suppose this is only single link, there is no other network, then why he will generate LSR? Okay, but if there are other networks also connected like this, then he will generate LSR. If there is no networks, then no problem. Okay, so in the loading state they will start loading the information. Okay, so this router will load the information which is coming from master, and the master will load the information which is coming from slave. Means loading means what? Okay, the creating and the database. Okay, and refreshing the database, because see, I have my older database, so I receive some other information from my neighbor, so I'll refresh my database. So that is in the loading process. Okay, so once the loading process is done, okay, then they will acknowledge again that, okay, thanks for the information, and then they will move in the full state. So once the full state is done, means everything is completed, your neighbor table is already done. Okay, your database is already done, and then your routing table will be created when the full state will be done. Okay, once the routing table will be created, then the routers will start communicating. Okay, so here the same thing what I told you, it is here listed. Okay, down state, so how many state the OSPF router has? So there are 7 states. Okay, down, init, two-way, X start, exchange, loading, full. Okay, so you have to go through it. The same thing which I told you I have written here. Okay, okay, now once the OSPF neighborship is done, okay, so you will find these information in the OSPF neighbor table. Okay, so you will find /dr, /bdr, two-way dr other, /dash. Okay, so about this OSPF neighboring information we will come to know when we will know about what is dr, what is bdr, what is dr other. Okay, now so OSPF neighbor formation. So OSPF has two type of neighbor. One is OSPF normal neighbor, okay, and second is OSPF adjacent neighbor. Okay, so simple is, okay, in OSPF network, only in OSPF network, okay, there are two type of neighbor, means to whom one neighbor is you are just connected, means see, maybe I have 10 router in my network, okay. So as I told you that there will be one master and others will be slave, okay. So maybe slave and slave is connected, so slave and slave is always two-way neighbor, okay. Just two-way neighbor means they are just exchanging the hello message, okay. And there is master router to whom you are exchanging the database like LSDB, okay. So the router to whom you are exchanging the database, those routers are known as adjacent routers, and the router to whom you are exchanging only hello message, those routers are known as two-way neighbor, okay. So OSPF neighbor condition, okay. So as I told you that, okay, OSPF router ID must be same, prefix must be same, subnet must be same, hello, dead, authentication, these all must be same, okay. So this lab we will do when we will complete OSPF, okay. At least we should know the basic configuration of OSPF, okay. Okay, so now we will be working with OSPF configuration 1, okay.